indeed. This is Hot Rod, and after a long time, the Hot Shot is back. Yes, the Hot Shot is back, and we've got a special guest today. I tell you, it's been a while. I'm finally getting him here. He kind of harasses me every now and then, but I still respect him. His name Pharoah Brooks. Pharoah Brooks, welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me today, Hot Rod. Thank you.
Man, I mean, you've been in wrestling for a good while. You're a veteran. You've been through a lot of things, and we appreciate. And whether it like it or not, we still appreciate all the work you do. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been wrestling, man?
I've been wrestling since 2010. I had my first match right when I was getting ready to graduate high school in 2010. Had my first match. I actually had the perfect spring in 2010. I went to the prom in April, had my first match in May, and then I graduated right after I had my first match.
Okay. And I know, I think you were trained like by Charlie Parks.
Charlie was over the training, but it was really Malik. Malik did the training.
Now, who's Malik? Everybody wants to know who's Malik.
Well, Malik the Great is my tag team partner.
All right.
Held many tag team titles with him, man.
Pretty much, my grandbaby's up here. She's showing some stuff. So go ahead.
Pretty much, might as well say my big brother. Okay. That's my brother. He got my back to the end, and he gonna rock with me in the ring and outside the ring. He a best friend, a big brother, just somebody can have your back to the end.
Okay. And that's a good thing to have somebody close. And I know you work for Charlie, but you guys founded Velocity Championship Action, Velocity Championship Action Wrestling, and you've done pretty well for yourselves. You've gone from one place to the other. Your crowds have gotten up. I remember when there was only a few people when we were doing some outside shows, and now to the point that now you're doing every Friday night. And you all have nice, great crowds out there, and they're loud and proud, and they're really proud of the work you guys do. So can you tell me a little bit about Velocity?
Velocity Championship Action is been in Memphis since, like I said, let me kind of lean up, since the church says established in 2011. We started off there in Director's Row by Catfish Cabin, which is no longer there. We were running out there after IWA, closed its doors, and due to, not by choice, but, with Mr. Parks passing on, he was the founder and leader of IWA and everything. We all got together and wanted to keep the tradition going. So we ended up getting a building on Director's Row, not too far, from the airport in Catfish Cabin area. And we were over there until that property was sold. The original owner sold it to a guy from out of town, and the guy from out of town was trying to come up with a new vision of how he wanted to do things. So it was just time to move on, and we were blessed to move on down Winchester, where we currently are, of 4275 Winchester Road, Suite 3594. I know I always mess with you about it because you get the numbers wrong.
That's right. Hey, look, you give it to me the way you want it. Now, yes, you've been blessed to have a lot of major stars.
Yes, sir.
Tell me kind of who you've had. Tell me some people you've had.
We've been blessed, like I said, at the old building and the current building, to work with a lot of guys. And actually, I was able to befriend, a couple of the guys. Work with Jerry Lawler. I would never take that for granted. Blessed. I mean, the top name in Memphis history. One of the top wrestling names that will go down in the history of the world, worldwide. So I actually was able to sit under his learning tree, and I remember a man told me, he was like, Lawler doesn't give advice and mentor just any and everybody. So if he's talking to you, take advantage of it. He must really like you. And I remember Kevin Nash even saying it in a shoot interview. Nash was like, Lawler doesn't talk to everybody like that, because Nash wanted to pick his brain in WWE in the 90s, and he couldn't get none of Lawler's knowledge. So for me to get some of Lawler's knowledge, I was blessed, and I really appreciate that. And he was really a regular during the summer when, we had TV. You were there, you saw him. Right. He was one of the regular roster members. And we've had Bill Dundee. Bill Dundee is Bill Dundee. And he just want to see the business continue. If he can pass his knowledge and help anybody that's really serious, Bill is willing to do it, because he wanted to see the business continue for something he loved and gave his life to. And then we've had Leo Rush, who's a current AEW star. I wrestled Leo Rush.
Hot property, Leo Rush.
Yeah, I wrestled Leo Rush the night before he got signed with Ring of Honor. I remember taking him to the bus station, and I was waking him up. He was on my grandma's couch. I said, "Get up, get up, get up, Leo." He like, what? I was like, "It's 4 something in the morning. You got to get on this bus to Nashville because you got a Ring of Honor trial." And I got him up, and he shook my hand, gave me a hug before he went in the ground. Like, thank you. And hey, the rest is history for Leo. Then we have worked with David Richards in the past. Rodney Mack a lot, of course, the Red Dog.
Yeah,
Rodney Mack.
the Red Dog.
He's like family, and everything. VCA is another home for him.
Right.
And also we've worked with Brian Christopher in the past, Jerry Lawler's son and everything. That was cool to work with Brian. And then Carlito currently in WWE, and Carlito is a good friend of mine. I just talked to him yesterday, so we still text and everything. And he always gets back with me. He's so humble, and I respect Carlito a lot. Even though he's on WWE every Monday, man, me and Carlito talk. When we talk, it's just like nothing's changed. He's so humble. And Joaquin Wild, the part of LWO.
All right.
The one who he used to sleep on my grandma's couch too, and he used to do shows with us. And every time he see me, that's my little cousin. He tell everybody that's my little cousin. And it's funny because when it was Christmas time, he sent me a gift, and it was a pair of tights that he wore on SmackDown only once. And I keep that in my little trophy case behind me. I will open, but I keep a lot of stuff I treasure in there. There's some stuff that he personally sent me. He always sending me stuff, and I put some of the stuff in there, like when he get action figures or anything, like wrestling tights and stuff. I just appreciate it because it's memories for me and everything. And I really respect the wrestling business, and I just treasure those things. And the Barbarian, we worked with him.
Yeah, I remember him. Yes.
Yeah, I loved the Faces of Fear, Ming and Barbarian. When
he was just here not too long, a few weeks ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. October. He was here at the Halloween show. We got to wrestle with him and everything, and it's just amazing how one of our wrestlers that wrestled with us, Marquez Mays, was a little kid watching the Barbarian and then he ended up growing up to teaming with him against us. So stuff like that. You never say never in wrestling. Never say never. You know that better than anybody. So we work with quite a few big names and everything. And I just don't, like I said, I don't take it for granted when they come in. We can get the knowledge, and it just keeps going. And like I said, guys like that of that magnitude who've been all around the world, and to come in and work with our guys is just amazing. Again, like I said, you're in the ring, and then next thing you know, you're standing across from Jerry Lawler, and then we're teaming with Jerry Lawler, and then next thing you know, Carlito runs in the ring. The people didn't know he was going to be there and everything. It just gave me memories of how Memphis wrestling used to be, like on Channel 5 when during the USWA era. You will see a WWE guy hit the ring, and you're like, "Where's it from?" And everything. And it just was hot. When I was a kid, I just enjoyed things like that.
And I think one of the issues is, of course, after wrestling became global, you don't have the largest building. Okay, we say that. But for you to have Carlito, for you to have Jerry Lawler, for you to have Leo Rush, who are usually wrestling in 20,000, 30,000, and they're able to come and don't mind coming, that says a lot to you and your company of the things you do.
I like touch on it. I'm happy you brought that up.
Go ahead.
I know a lot of people, like you said, I like how you said it, how a lot of people be like, well, the building ain't that big. I remember you and I have had talks about that off the record and everything. Right. And you say it all the time because you're an old school fan. I always tell people, I was like, it's a studio. And that's what wrestling was in Memphis. It was a studio. You had about 150 to 200 fans in a building. And then on that Monday night, they went to the big thing, the Mecca of the events in the South was at the Mid-South Coliseum. So, and that's what we have is studio wrestling. I've heard so many people, and I don't care. They bash the building, be like, it's a small bit. It's a studio. It's studio wrestling. NWA with Billy Corgan, who we worked for in October, we worked for him. He does the same thing. It's studio. The only people who did not like the studio setting was WWE. And they were doing something different. They said Vince McMahon did. Bruce Pritchard said Vince does not like studio settings. But if you go back to Jim Crockett, which was some great stuff in the 80s.
Right.
They were in a studio.
Right.
WCW, which is funny. I forgot to mention that we worked with Sid Vicious. That was
right. Okay.
First people I ever worked with. Got a picture of him and me when I was 14 in the back behind me right now.
Well, you know what? When you going to come back in because you got to show all that cabinet back there.
Okay. So Sid told me they used to love Center Stage because it reminded them of the studio. And keep in mind where Sid came from, the USWA territory, and the CWA and USWA. Studio wrestling is hot because a lot of people don't understand, and you know this yourself, a lot of our kids in the community and people, they don't have the money to go to the FedEx Forum. They might not have the money to go to certain events. So that little studio intimate setting for them, they could be in a building that can only hold 175 to 200. That is their FedEx Forum.
Right. And they can, and the best part about it is, if you're in the FedEx Forum, you'll be back in the crow's nest, way back where somewhere. You are actually eyeball to eyeball sometimes with Leo Rush. You're less than an arm length away from Carlito. You can't get that in WWE unless you spend $400, $500.
So speaking of WWE, okay, so I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when I traveled to Orlando, Florida for a family event, Joaquin Wild, he lives down there, and he was like, come by the house and everything, and we went by the house and saw him and his baby girl. He always missed me talking about come see your little niece. So anyway, we were talking. He said, "Hey, I want you guys to check out NXT." So I went down to the NXT taping the next day, and when I looked at the building, at the Performance Center, it's nothing but a big studio. That's what it is. So when people kind of give us the extra backlash about, they're in that little building, it's just a studio. Hey, Rodney Mack told me one time, he said, look, I don't care what nobody say. This was before a show. He and I was around the ring. He said, people can talk about a building. They can talk about this, that. He said, what matters, he pointed in that squared circle in that ring. He said, that's what matters, because that's what people are paying for. They're not paying for the building.
Right.
They're paying for a wrestling show, meaning the action in that ring.
Okay. You're right. Let's go to let's talk about some of your guys. Some of you've got a nice roster of young talent. You got some who've been around for a while, like Malik, who is probably the ultimate veteran.
Yeah, he is.
Of the group, kind of the old man of the group in that way.
Well, we say OG. We call him the OG. Tavis and me call him Tavis, and me call him the OG.
The OG. So tell me about. But I want to know something. You got a lot of young. Lately, you got a lot of young guys who are really coming up. Tell me about some of the young guys. I know what you're going to talk about anyway. I know you're going. So you might as well talk about him first.
Who was that?
Tavis. You got to talk
let me get on my best friend.
There you go.
Tavis actually came to us through another wrestler, which is funny how that worked. Dwayne. That's how Tavis came through us, through Dwayne, and Dwayne actually came through VCA through my little cousin. My little cousin worked at FedEx, and he knew Dwayne. So Dwayne brought Tavis in because Tavis came in as a referee. Then Tavis transitioned from a ref to a wrestler because it was really Malik was like, you're pretty good, you're athletic. He was a wrestling fan growing up, but he never saw himself as a wrestler.
Right.
And he was just athletic because he could play basketball. One thing about Tavis can play basketball. I don't know about football, but I'm pretty sure he probably can because he can play baseball, all that.
He probably play football. He probably knock some folk down the way he's built.
Yeah, he's very aggressive now. So he probably could. He probably would have been a good quarterback because he's fast. And
probably been a good defensive lineman.
Yeah, because he's very competitive. That's always been him. And his father will tell you, like, my son just loves to compete. He wants to be the best in everything, like even video games. Like, he's very competitive. Anything Tavis do, if we were to paint a house, like say, hey, we're going to just do a competition, he's going to try to make sure we get that house done before the next set of wrestlers, if it was a TV show or something. And he will be mad if he didn't get that house done. That's how he looks at competition. He wants to always be the best at whatever he does. So he ended up going through the training. He was already training because with VCA, even if you're a referee, we go through exercise and stuff to make sure your cardio condition is good. Because refs, they have a hard job too now,
Yep, most definitely.
They have a hard job too. And he got in there and started doing moves and would go over the moves and do things. And Malik was like, hey, man, you're pretty good. And eventually, he got in the ring and got more serious with it. And I mean, he's the VCA champion now.
Yeah,
I mean,
as of this taping, he's a VCA champion.
He's a VCA champion. And he's worked with a lot of guys. Like he's got the chance to get in there and work with Leo Rush and Jerry Lawler and Carlito them and Barbarian. So he's not even, I don't think Tavis is nothing but 21, 22 or something like that. And that's a lot of accolades to already have at that age.
You're correct. You're correct. Okay. Tell me somebody else that you not necessarily they're on your side, but some guys that you think are really because regardless of what, you have to know that your company is probably the best. Pound for pound.
I truly feel that we give the best action. I just call it. I don't see anybody. I'm not knocking nobody, but I truly believe nobody's gonna get in that ring and work hard like us. I'm not saying that we might have the best production. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying we have the $1 million budget, as Paul Heyman was saying about WWE. But when it comes to that ring, nobody's messing with the VCA. We're going to get in that ring and we're going to make sure that we give you our all. I don't care if it's 20 people, 5 people. You know what? If it was 5, I might not like the number, but those 5 people still gave us their time. They could have did anything on a Friday night. They could be home watching SmackDown, at a football game, a basketball game, going out to dinner with the family, going on a date or whatever. But if you're there on a wrestling night, rain, sleet, or snow, if the building is open and you're there to pay that money to see us for those 2 hours, hey, you gonna get some entertainment. And we're gonna get in that ring and do what we got to do to entertain you because again, you gave us your time. So I appreciate that.
All right, so tell me, give me some more about your roster. I mean, I think people who may not know need to know more about your roster as well. Of course, you and Malik the Great, the greatest on earth. Best tag team on God's green earth, right?
Greatest tag team on God's green earth. When God made a tag team, he put a picture of Malik and me in the book.
I hear you.
So, you got Malik and myself, which, we really don't have to go into that because, like you said, we've been around a little while. Then you got Tavis, we were just talking about. I'm very proud of him. Then you got WPH, William Princeton Harris. He's been with us a little while. When I say a lot of people need to look at William Princeton Harris, he is, what would I say, the clone of William Regal. When you think about William Regal, and what's that guy we were talking about, Rodney, before? Used to be with Bill Dundee.
Not George Barnes.
Was it George Barnes?
George Barnes, yeah.
Yeah. George Barnes. You think about Regal, George Barnes, William Princeton Harris.
The technical guys, yeah.
Yes. I mean, I'm going to give it to William Princeton Harris. When it comes to old school amateur wrestling, technical, the William Regal style, the British style, or whatever you want to say, George Barnes. Look at William Princeton Harris. I don't see nobody doing what he does down in this area. You're not going to see it. I can tell you, he's up the bar. He took it up a notch, and he does some stuff where I look and be like, "Hey, that's pretty good. Let me look at it." He don't know I'm looking at it to see. Right. I can probably take that out of his playbook, but I won't tell him. But it's like he's good. William will do some stuff, and it'll make you look at him like make you think like, "Damn, that was pretty good," and everything. So William is a darn good wrestler. He's excellent in that ring. And then you have new guys like I said, Marquez Mays. Quez used to wrestle on the ground when he was a little kid. This is a true story. Quez, he's my little cousin. And the thing about it is I can remember when Quez was a little boy walking down the street in the neighborhood. And I went to the store and Joaquin Wild was sitting on my porch. And Quez walked down the street and told Joaquin Wild, "Hey, I'm Brooks' cousin." And he kept walking. And Joaquin Wild said, "Some kid came over here saying he was your cousin." and talking about he's going to be at the show tonight. I said, it's probably Quiz. Said because Quiz has always been a big fan of wrestling. And I remember Quiz telling me in the locker room one time, he's like, it's really crazy. I'm a wrestling fan as a kid, and I walk down the street and I see Joaquin Wild on your porch, just sitting on the porch. And he like, because at the time, Joaquin was still hot on TV. He was Zima Ion. He was just the cruiserweight champion on TNA. Then you got this little 7 or 8 year old kid who watches TNA. Like, is that Zima Ion on the porch? What is he doing? That's something you don't see every day.
Right. Yeah.
So he's been, like I said, into wrestling since he was a kid. And I remember his mom used to always tell me, get him, Lamar, get him, do something with him, get him. I said, he's a kid. This boy is doing backflips off the wall. And I remember he showed me. They said, come see this. Just like you watching a Spider-Man movie or something. The boy will run up the wall on the side of the house and do a backflip. Walk up the wall. And I was like, wow. And he would get old beds, mattresses, and put them in the front yard and have a wrestling show by himself. He wasn't playing with nobody else but himself, wrestling on the bed. And look at the future now. Now, he's one of the top baby faces in the company. That everybody loves him, and
everybody loves Quiz. Okay,
he's not the same Quiz. He's about 6'2" now.
He's very tall. When I say you got another guy that's kind of gotten hot lately. His name is Rage.
Rage is this is the thing. I don't do that much talking to Rage. I mean, we talk and greet each other, and we everything like respect. I haven't really got to know him fully yet, and he has not got to know me fully yet because he's new. But I can say this: I am impressed with him. I will admit that because Rage actually came from a backyard wrestling group along with some more guys, and they found out about VCA, and they had other guys. They went on and did their other things, in different part of the areas with different promotions. But Rage and the Drake Bundy guy and up there Roddy Young, they came to us and was like, well, we really want to come to VCA because we like this, product, and they're doing real good. So the thing about it is it really didn't take them long to progress in the VCA training school because they already kind of knew the dynamics, but they didn't know the full fundamentals because they were used to doing a backyard thing. And I know people always say, like all outlaw mud show, like Cornette would say, or different people would say things. But, some independent promotions are not outlaw, mud shows. You have some people that really take it serious and they respect the art and craft of wrestling. It's just that we know, Rodney, on the indie circuit, the financing isn't there. And even Cornette said that himself before. So when you don't have we're not even gonna say $1 million budget. When you don't have a $250,000 budget, that kind of hurts when you are limited with like funds because you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, you might be in a $200,000 or $300,000 household, but you're not going to jeopardize your household like some have now. Some have did that, but I wouldn't be one to jeopardize my $300,000 house for a wrestling show. So, I mean, hey, if you don't have it financially, you don't have it, but that's where your sponsors and investors come in, because it's a business at the end of the day.
You mentioned my favorite wrestler, Drake Bundy. He's a young guy, he's a new guy. I mess with him because I think about the name and all that. Of course, I do my lad impression on him. You're stealing money, Bundy. I've been impressed with him.
I like Drake. I was talking to him, and I told him, I said, your name's Drake Bundy. We was in the back talking. I was like, the psychology. I said, think about it, Bundy. Ted Bundy was a serial killer. I said, Ted Bundy was something that's serious. I mean, I won't get into what he, we all know the story, some of us, but I won't get into the Ted Bundy thing on here. But, I said, man, do you know who that is? I don't think he knew who he was at first because he's a younger guy. I said, go back and look at Ted Bundy. And when he told me he knew who Ted Bundy was, I'm like, he was serious. He was ruthless. So if you got that last name Bundy, make it mean something. I remember when he first told the people his name in the crowd, and there was some people out there laughing. I'm like, okay, they'll laugh this first week, but after he get into the character, They won't laugh no more because, see, Ted Bundy wasn't a man you would laugh at. Ted Bundy was a man that you'd be like this. You'll grab your heart and see how's it beating because, like, oh my God, that man did that? Yeah, that's something serious. That's the psychology of it. It's nothing to laugh about.
And you got a veteran by the name of Tank.
Mm-hmm. Tank? Yeah, Tank is pretty cool in the ring and everything. Tank is I joke, Tank would be like a Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
Whether he's a bad guy, good guy, it doesn't matter what Tank is. He gonna give you the same performance, both sides, and that's a good thing. Tank can go out there and be a bad guy, he can go out there and be a good guy. Tank is just Tank, and he's in the ring. It doesn't matter. Like right now, he's in the hardcore division. He used to be the heavyweight champion. Tank has did it all in our company. When he first came, when he was small, he was a junior champion, tag champion, hardcore, TV. It doesn't matter. Tank can do it all. And that's like somebody who's always a good, person to have on your roster,
So he pretty much has won every title.
He's won every
almost
title.
Including the cup. Didn't he win the tiny? So, yeah, he's basically the one who's
won that Battle Royal 3 times. Tank and I are the only two. I got to throw myself in there. I was the first. I was the first. We are the only two that actually have everything in their company. But Tank does excel over me with the Battle Royal, though. I won it once. Tank has won it 3 times. And he's looking to make it number 4. But it's not going to happen.
We're gonna talk about that a little bit later on. But another young guy who I like, got to talk about, Mr. B.I.G.
Mr. Big.
Mr.
Call him Mr. Big. Mr. B.I.G.
He's
Mr.
a young
B.I.G.
guy. He's got a road to hoe, but I give him some props for really trying to put forth the best effort. He's doing and he's got a lot to learn, but he has surprised me in how he's kind of overcome some things.
I saw a post his mom had put on Facebook about his birthday the other day, and
his mom.
His mom.
He got a mom.
We know that lady in the crowd that be cutting up every week.
I didn't think he had a mom. And mean as Mr. Big is.
And I saw the post how he went from starting off as a terrorizer in the mask gimmick, then he went to Mongo, then he went to Mr. B.I.G. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, okay, it's the same man, but it looked like 3 different people, and that's how wrestling is supposed to be. As Rikishi said before, you're supposed to be able to make a character come to life. It don't matter if they put you in pink and call you the Pink Bunny and they want you to be a heel. You need to be the most evil bunny there is. You know what I mean? In a person, which is funny. You might see that on TV one day, the evil Easter Bunny or something, the evil bunny. They come out with the drum, banging on the drum, and next thing you know, they attack the wrestler with the drum. WWE can make it work. Now they can make it work. But
you never know.
It's just a thing about it doesn't matter when people be like, well, somebody's burying me or somebody doing this. They didn't, or you got fans who are opinionated, because like Lawler told me one time, since social media is here, everybody has an opinion. And that, in my opinion, as everybody having an opinion, I feel that social media actually hurts the business to a point. It's good to promote if you're doing that. But when fans get on there and then wrestlers get on there and argue and talk about stuff, that's not a good thing because then we let everybody in our world. And our world supposed to be wrapped up and hidden. Like a magician.
Right.
You don't want to show your secrets.
Right. And I think that's one of the issues now with a lot of people. There's no reason that wrestlers need to be in there putting down companies, saying this and saying that outside of, because that makes you look bad.
Right.
The issue is they're supposed to come to see you. And if you make yourself look bad, people are not going to come see you.
Because let me ask you this, Rod, and I'm going to come back to Mr. B. Let me ask you this. You grew up old school, right? Even though social media wasn't around, but some of these guys are around now. Even though they do shoot interviews, that's different. But have you ever seen Jerry Lawler, who at that time, was kind of active on social media, tweeting about shows and stuff. Have you ever seen Jerry Lawler get on social media and talk about some of the things he disagreed with Paul Heyman on behind the scenes? Have you ever seen that on social media? Now,
later later, on in life, he mentioned about how Paul Henry Charles Reed did that and all that.
Right.
But that was later on into
and they used that in the angle.
Right.
They actually even worked. It was real, but they put it even in an angle. He talked about, when Paul got scared and all that. But I'm saying like how you will see guys get on social media and talk about, well, this guy didn't do this or this guy didn't do that, and they put it out there for the fans. But I will tell you this, and I'm going to cut it short on this. It's an issue with Lawler near the end with Paul Heyman that he felt, and he told me personally. That they didn't agree on something.
Right.
Because Paul, is one of the guys they listen to up there when it came to the commentary. But here's the thing. Nobody ever knew it because he never put it on social media. And nobody knew it because Paul Heyman never voiced it on social media. But I knew because I got it straight from the horse's mouth. But there was some, as Reggie Fine used to say, we keep that in the house.
Well, I can't. I know we got to talk about Dwayne, but before I talk about Dwayne, we have to talk about VCA's favorite wrestler, the miraculous one.
Oh, Daniel.
Daniel Miraculous. Now he has been wrestling for a good while, mind you. He's been wrestling for a good while, and he's developed a character that has I guess done him well. What he wants, how he does. So
he was kind of nervous in the beginning of letting himself out like that with that with the character and everything of Daniel Miraculous. And I remember I told him myself, I said, man, you like to be silly, you like to joke. You've been not caring what people say. So why not have fun with it? And he said, you're right. He told me one day, he said, you're right. I said, just go out there and have fun, man. Do what you want to do. I was like, that will be the thing. I'll never forget. It was indie wrestler, good guy, Sean Hoodrich.
Right.
Sean said he sent me a message on Facebook. He said, whatever Daniel Miraculous is doing down there, tell him to keep doing it. That's when Daniel first started doing the promos. And he was going to the new character of being flamboyant. Sean Hoover said it's creepy as hell.
It is.
Tell him to keep doing it. And that's why I think Daniel's been so successful, because I told him that time. I was like, Daniel, it doesn't matter. You don't normally care what people say to you anyway.
Right.
Daniel the type, you could tell Daniel, that blue jacket does not go with those purple pants. You need to put on the black jacket. Daniel be like, let me think about it. Next thing you know, Daniel gonna come out with that blue jacket. That's Daniel. So if you don't care what people say anyway, go out there and do your thing. And to be honest, to a point, that's how wrestling's supposed to be. That's where you get the best out of guys. Don't care about taking a chance.
Right, taking a chance.
Take a chance. Sometimes you have to take that chance, and you won't know if it will work unless you take that chance.
And then you got Mr. Dwayne White.
Dwayne White. Going back to Dwayne White, like I was saying earlier, we met Dwayne through a cousin of mine who used to know Dwayne, and Dwayne started off as a referee, then he became a professional wrestler. I remember they were talking about the hardcore division, and he was like, I do a hardcore. And I got to give it to Dwayne. I give it to him. Dwayne is tough. Dwayne will go through some tables.
Yeah.
Dwayne will go on some thumbtacks. Dwayne will get hit with a chair. He's going to dish it back out too. But my opinion, Dwayne is one of the best I've seen in the hardcore division in this area. I think, in my opinion, if ECW was around, Dwayne probably would have got his shot. I'm not saying he would have got signed or not got signed, but I think Dwayne would have been a good person, even though he's not the biggest, but he would have been a good candidate for Paul Heyman to give him a shot, because that type of stuff they did up there, Dwayne would have fit right in.
Okay. Have I missed anybody else on the regular roster? I know you have other guys coming in, like you mentioned, Sean Hoodridge, and guys like that to come in every now and then. But is there anybody else?
One person we got to talk about now. It's special with him. It's two because they train together and they actually went to school together.
Okay.
The one, we inherited this young man. That was Q.
Yes.
Black Mamba Q.
Yes.
Gotta talk about him because we inherited him, and it's special. The relationship we had with him, he used to come watch us wrestle as a child. His daddy, Big Tiny, who passed on. Big Tiny was one of the originals of VCA. Big Tiny wrestled with us until he couldn't wrestle no more. And he became like a commissioner and kind of like a bodyguard because his health was failing him. But he said Q wanted to be a wrestler. Q used to come see us. So when I saw Q, I'm like, I walked in one day at the train. He was in there. And somebody was taping his foot up. I'm like, that didn't even last a good hour. I'm like, I looked at Malik, why is he here? I'm like, let that man take his son home. So that was my exact thought. Then Q came back and kept training. I remember we had a show. I never forget this. All right, this is a true story. You know how, especially around this time, so we know we're in the winter time. This is why I tell people I be very careful when we're getting ready to go to March and April. When you go into March and April, a lot of people get sick.
Right.
I'll never forget, we had a show lined up. Rodney Mack couldn't make it. Somebody else had got sick. All the guys seemed like they were getting sick and people just dropping off. Q was a referee. And Daniel didn't have an opponent. So they're like, okay, we were all having a meeting. Daniel had to wrestle Q. And he was a referee. And Q took a butt whooping in that match and was doing this thing, coming back for more. And I looked at him that night. I looked at that screen. I said, he gonna be all right. He gonna be good. And I remember Uncle Calvin, the guy who manages for us, old school rap. When Rodney Mack wrestled Q the first time, he was on his ring. On the way to the ring, excuse me. And Rodney Mack hit him in the back with a steel chair. And he ended up losing the match to Q. Q did the old 1-2-3 kid and Razor Ramon. The moonsault, the crowd went crazy. And Calvin came to Malik and me and said, he gonna be all right.
There you go.
And everybody kept saying because he tough. And I'm like, you know what? Malik said something. I kind of get emotional thinking about this, but Malik told him that time, you got to do right in professional wrestling. Because see, your dad left for something. He passed on, he went to the heavens, went to God. But he gave us a gift. He gave the company a gift. When you try to leave he left something more than money. He left something more than clothes, valuable things like that. He left the most precious thing he could leave to VCA wrestling. He left Q. We inherited his son. And Q is a good talent in the ring. That's something that's going to go way beyond money and everything because Q going to make the money because he's so talented and people like to see him. And Tiny brought him in to the company. We'll get into that too. I truly believe things happen spiritually for a reason. Tiny brought Q in there. The Lord knows when he going to call us home.
Right.
And he brought Q to us. Tiny brought Q to us. And, mentorship and everything. We've been there for Q. We talked to him, some of the guys in the locker room. But Tiny gone. But look where Q, he's still with us. I'll never forget somebody asked, with Tiny passing is Q going to stay with the wrestling? I said, yeah. Q wrestle. What we do when we lose, we lose a loved one at VCA, we still going to do a show that Friday night, the funeral Saturday.
Right.
And if it's a show that Saturday night, we're going to do that show Saturday night. We're going to give them a tribute and a memorial because the ones that have been associated with VCA, even like my mom, they wouldn't want us to stop.
Yes.
They want to keep going. That's how my grandma, Charlie Parks, Big Tiny, my mom, that's how they were. They were like, keep going because our way we show love, as in like, you remember at Luther Vandross, his funeral, Patty LaBelle and the other people that were friends of his, they sung the power of love at the end of his funeral because that's their way of showing love for him. They sing. But in wrestling, the way we show love and show emotion of our art, we wrestle. That's our way of showing our tribute and everything. So going with Q, yeah, he's one of the best in the area too. And then
I forgot Big Motor.
Okay, I'm gonna get to Big Mo. Let me come back to Big Mo.
Go ahead.
Q was in a training with a young man who's got a long history with me. Magic Mike.
Magic Mike, most definitely. Michael Clark. I'd be in trouble if I forget Michael Clark. Okay.
I walked in that training, the same training, and he was pacing back and forth. And I think it was like, I could be wrong. I want to say it had to be summertime, but I could be wrong. Was it summer? I think I want to say something. I could be wrong. But I remember seeing this guy with a jogging suit, like a sweatsuit on, pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth. And I walked past him. He didn't say nothing to me. I didn't say nothing to him. I looked at Malik, like I said, I was looking at some of the guys, the new training guys. There was some more guys there. And I was like, what the hell is this? Because again, you know me. I'm kind of old school, even though I'm a cruiserweight.
Mm-hmm.
And I weigh like 180, but I like the muscle guys, okay? I like, even if you're a cruiserweight, I want to see at least like 175 on you or something. I've always been like that because that's what I grew up seeing on WCW, WWE. I like the cruiserweights like a Leo Rush, Joaquin Wild, or a Dragon Lee. I'm used to seeing guys with 170 or maybe at the smallest. Even Rey Mysterio had a little size on when he got to WWE. 165, 170, keep going up. But the 130, the 140s, I kind of was a critic on it. That's why I don't like looking at old videos or clips or photos of myself, because I hated my body. I do not like looking at stuff with me. But Tavis told me one day, why, Brooks? Why you hate looking at that? That's the past.
That's
said, look at you in the past.
And that's where you came from.
Right,
Never forget where you come from.
That's what Tavis always tells me. He said, Brooks, you should look at where you came from to now. You should be proud of yourself. So I understand that. But I walked past Mike that day, and I'm like, we ain't finna have nothing. These guys might be some referees, but we supposed to be adding to the roster, not wasting time. Boy, was I wrong about Magic Mike. He grew on me. I ain't gonna lie. He grew on me. He really did grow on me. And I was like, damn, he's good. He can flip and everything. He was green. He was new. So that's why I had to learn. Malik has the patience because he's been doing it long, and he's seen the growing your own talent. And I was getting introduced to it. I was new to it. So going with Mike, seeing what he was then to now, he's not the biggest, but I always say he got the heart of David against the law. He can get in there and tell his story with whoever in the ring. I mean, Mike is not the biggest at all, but like, let's say it was somebody like, I'm going to say a name like Ricochet. Ricochet could come down here and he could be booked by VCA and get in the ring with Mike. It's going to be good. Even though Mike is small, Mike knows how to tell the story. And Mike is that person you could really put with anybody, even though he's small. If it's going to be a match that's no longer than 3 minutes, it's going to be the best 3 minutes you've seen. Mike is a go-to. Like, he is the junior champion. He's our junior champion. I know somebody asked, what does junior beta mean? Well, it's just the junior version of Velocity Championship action. That's what junior beta is. It's our junior division. Lightweight, cruiserweight, however you want to call it.
Well, I think they want to know where junior beta came from. That's what I think people want to find out. That, like just junior,
Gotcha,
we talk about that. We talk about that later on. I want to get to let's get to the rest of the roster. We're gonna have more than just this one time to do this.
Okay. So you want to talk about Big Motor?
But again, Big Motor.
Okay, Big Motor, Rick Henry. He close to 300 pounds. He had a knee injury. I think he had a bad knee injury. Took him out about 9 months. So he's on commentary right now. But he was a heavyweight champion. When he went into the injury, he was a heavyweight champion. He had to vacate the belt. Big Motor kind of puts me in the mind of a Keith Lee. Okay. Very agile. I think Big Motor's about 5'11", 6 feet, close to 300 pounds. He's a big boy, and he can get in there and move, man. Do verticals, everything, drop kicks and everything. Strong. I mean, country strong. You know how they say the country strong. So, Southern guy. Big Motor's real strong, and he can be a teddy bear.
Yeah, he's kind of soft-spoken, but he's real strong.
Yeah, don't make him mad. That's what I tell everybody. Just don't make him mad, because, even the nice, gentle giants, when they're woke, it's hard to put them to sleep. But he's a nice guy. Like I said, he can be a teddy bear and gentle, and the fans love him. A lot of people think the days of, the big monster guys, they got to be the bad guys. Not all the time. You can have those gentle giants, and people will love them. Andre the Giant, wasn't he a good baby face back in the day?
Unless you made him mad. Again, well, let's see. I tell you, you can't talk about your folks without talking about Tara Ray.
You know what? I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna leave it there because I don't want to go into it. I want to say,
come on. Okay, I know. Well, go ahead.
As the people say, you know how they start the meme of the Karens. She would be the Karen of VCA rap.
She'd be the Karen of VCA. Tara Ray plays her part very well. You know, and I mean, I've talked to her, you know, outside of her. She, you know, she's not as dumb as she tries to be. Okay, she's very intelligent. So, but I want to make sure I got a shout in. So when I go back next Friday, she said, "Okay, they talked about me too." So we had that.
She's really intelligent. Really.
And you got Jason Hall, who's your announcer, who tried to tie it all together.
Yeah, Jason Hall. I think Jason Hall has the great energy for professional wrestling. Sometimes we have to put a cold ice pack on his neck to cool him down. He's excited. The 2 hours of the wrestling show.
And he's been working with you all for many, many years.
Many years. Jason is the type that I remember I told somebody, Jason Hall, the type can come tell you it was a fight that just happened around the corner. And he will come there and tell you what happened. And about time he get through telling you, you're going to probably leave out your house to walk around the corner to see what happened. And that's how excited he can make you, get.
You're right. And he got some backstage guy. You got MJ, who's a backstage guy. I know he's out there with the cameras and everything. And all the MJ is very, very valuable.
Very valuable. MJ is a jack of all trades. You know, you need MJ, to do anything. He can do it.
Yeah, and I get props. You see him run to the camera. You run over to he's got all this stuff. He knows when to get down. He knows what he really.
Let me tell you how I met MJ right quick. This is funny. Got to give you a funny story. Okay. Malik and me were at the gym working out at Planet Fitness. And this guy, which is MJ, was at the desk because he was working at Planet Fitness at the time. And I'm like, why is this guy staring at us constantly? So anyway, Malik went on. We were done with the workout. But Malik, I think he said he was going to do something else. I think at that time, my back was bothering me or something. So I said, well, all right, Malik, we were done with our sets and everything. We had put in like an hour at the gym. So I was like, well, let me go. You still there, Rodney?
I'm here.
Okay.
I want people to see you.
Your screen went off. So okay.
I got you for a minute.
Okay. So MJ, like I said, was the guy staring. So anyway, Malik went off. I went to the massage room. I think I went to the bed. So as I went to the bed, I'm laying on the bed. The guy, which is MJ, waits till Malik leaves. And I get I got him by myself. So anyway, he walks over to the bed. I'm on the bed. And he was like, hey, can I talk to you right quick? And I looked up. I'm like, yeah, what's up? I approached him. I'm like, what does this guy want?
Come in there, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I thought. And when I told him the thing, he busted out laughing. I thought he was going to approach me, asking me because he was a young guy.
Right.
I thought he was thinking that I was a dope dealer.
Right. Okay.
And then when I thought he was coming to try to make a deal,
I'm glad that's what it was. It wasn't anything else.
Because I had been accused of how I carried myself. I was telling Joaquin Wild before. I used to like to wear white. So, and I used to drive back then. At one point, I was driving a Crown Vic, and I would wear white. And guys would always come up to me, hey, you got something for sale? And I was like, why does everybody keep coming to me? And Joaquin was like, bro, did you know what kind of signal you were sending?
With the Crown Vic, yeah.
The Crown Vic, and I always wore white. So I was laying on the bed. I was like, what's up? So MJ was like, don't you guys wrestle for VCA Wrestling? I'm like, yeah. I want to get into the professional wrestling business. I was like, okay, cool. And I gave him the information. I was like, how you know that? I've been seeing you guys come in this gym for weeks, and I just want to build up the nerve to come talk to you guys because I know how professional wrestlers could be kind of, rude. Sometimes they don't want to be bothered, because they got their personal time, then they're working out. So I want to be respectful, but I just built up the nerve to come talk to you. So I had to come at least try. Going back to take that chance at least one time. Take that chance when we really want to do something in wrestling. And he said, I just want to get into the business. And he said, because I watch you guys on YouTube. I was like, cool. So he said, I thought that would, you guys, when you came in weeks ago, I just kept wanting to build up the nerve to come ask you. I gave him the information, and he's part of the company today.
Well, we're about ready to end this thing, but what I want to do, you got about 5 minutes, okay? You got Mega Fest coming up. You have your YouTube show. I'm going to give you the opportunity to promote what you gonna say? Tell people right about now. So you let them know. I'm gonna let you have it. It's all yours.
Okay, so let's start with VCA Wrestling. Can be seen every Friday night at 8 o'clock on 4275 Winchester Road, Suite 3594. That's off Winchester between Perkins and Goodley. And you get like an hour and a half to 2 hour show. Come see some cruiserweight action, some heavyweights. Come see some hardcore action. Come get a buffet of wrestling. And also, we come on YouTube every Thursday at 7 p.m. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Look up VCA Wrestling. And also, we got a Roku thing going on. VCA Wrestling. Download the VCA Velocity Network on Roku and check that out. And we got
what's on that? What's on that?
All the past episodes, and eventually we're going to start doing some more. We're going to do some more content on there. I don't want to let that cat out the bag yet, but you'll be able to see some behind the scenes stuff. We got so much stuff in our archives. We got behind the scenes stuff, Rodney Mack, Carlito, stuff never been seen, like stuff when we did high school shows, things with the kids and everything. It's a lot of content we have in the archives that have never even been released, like stuff with Jerry Lawler. We got a lot of stuff that can be released. Like I said, keep in mind, we still got the footage of some of the names I didn't mention, like Big Daddy V, known as King Mabel. We got that footage still in our archives. It's a lot of stuff we got, that we can release. And then also, MegaFest is coming up. That's going to be a 2-night event. That's going to be starting the last Friday in February. What's that, the 28th, Rodney? That's going to be a $5 show. Then MegaFest will be the next night at the building. 2 nights of wrestling action. They're going to have a battle royal, 15-man over the top rope battle royal. We're going to have some surprises in there and everything. So you want to come to that. Both nights at 8 o'clock. Both nights at 8 o'clock. So you can bring the family out for 2 nights of action. And it'll be real fun for the family. Like I said, you get to see all type of things in professional wrestling. You get a buffet.
So, okay, come on, insider. Who's going to win the battle royal? Come on.
Who's going to win the battle royal? Well, hopefully me.
Oh, there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the man I'm talking about. Well, the time is running and we've gone, a lot. I want you to come back.
Okay.
Because we want to talk about that stuff. We want to talk about Miss Daffy. And we want to talk about other sorts of wrestling. But I want people to know you because a lot of times people watch shows, they see stuff. And yes, you have a major, you played a big part in VCA. People need to know who you are.
And I'm happy for the opportunity because I'm going to be honest, and you notice I don't really do shows. Going back to what you said, people don't really get to know me, like just know me. And I remember I was told by a fan, they were like, you say some crazy stuff on the microphone, but outside of wrestling, actually getting to speak to you and get to meet you, you got a good head on your shoulders. Well, you got Pharoah Brooks at the show. Then you have Lamar's. And Lamar's is not going to coexist with Pharoah Brooks because that's not who you're paying to see. You're not paying to see Lamar. So you really don't need to know Lamar's. So that's why I'm very, how would I say, choosy about what I do and how I let people in my world. Because like I have family, I have friends, I go to church and everything. Their world doesn't coexist with the VCA. And that's how wrestling is supposed to be. If you think about it, The Undertaker, my favorite wrestler. I'm just now getting to really know the man because of the 6 Feet Under podcast. He's just now letting us in this world because he's retired.
Come on, The Undertaker's not your favorite wrestler.
That's don't start.
Not your favorite wrestler. We know who your favorite wrestler is, and we're going to talk about it next time, who your favorite wrestler is.
It's a joke about that guy, which I do like the guy you're talking about.
We're going to put it online. I'm going to tell you later on who his favorite wrestler is. It is not The Undertaker.
But The Undertaker is indeed my favorite.
It's not The Undertaker.
And another guy that I really respect so much, one of my favorite, my top 3, Bret Hart. Those guys, when I was a kid, I didn't really know them. I mean, I saw behind the scenes stuff that they only showed us on like Livewire when they used to have their show of Superstars, the morning shows, WWF Superstars. But you didn't know. I mean, who knew Yokozuna was a Samoan? I thought that brother was a Japanese. I really thought he was Japanese when I was a kid. So That's how wrestling is supposed to be. Like I said, like a magician giving away his tricks. You ain't gonna want to see a man get cut in half in a coffin if you know the trick or the box. You know,
True.
You won't go back. So if we as wrestlers, I can't say the fans because fans are fans. They are what they are. But I'm saying we as wrestlers, the people they pay to see, if we would keep some of that, that magic hidden, I think people will pay to see. They'll pay to see it.
One more thing. What's your website?
Our website is www.vcawrestling.com. Want to make sure I'm right on it. Now, I want to make sure I'm right. We got so much stuff going on.
Make sure you're right now. So you got to tell people to go to the website.
Yeah, go to the website and like the Velocity Championship Action Facebook page. Don't forget about that.
Get everything in there. You get your plug in.
Wait a minute, I'm making sure. Yeah. I want to make sure I say everything right because I don't want nobody.
So I'm gonna tell Jason Hall if you don't have it right.
Yeah, I got it right. VCAWrestling.com. And like I said, VCA Wrestling on YouTube, the Roku channel, Facebook, and we're gonna be in Marks, Mississippi. We're gonna be down there once a month.
Marks, Mississippi, start when? In March?
We did it in January. It was a success. Mm-hmm. And the promoter is bringing us back March 8th. So right after the MegaFest week, we're going down there March 8th. So we'll be down there once a month. We really enjoyed. I mean, the promoter was really nice. He had everything laid out, top of the line. When I say we got into town, they personally catered for us. We had catering. I was like, man, the only time I've ever had something like this is when we do this stuff personally for our guys, or when I worked for AEW that one time. That's the only time I ever had catering like that, and they had it for us. I've been, like I said, we wrestled for NWA before and everything, but AEW had the catering, and they catered for us. Like when I say smothered baked chicken from the Southern ladies, Rod, it was good.
I feel you. Well, we've gone to time, and everything's been real great, so I'm going to let you go back to do what you got to do. I know you got to get ready for this for Friday night. MegaFest. So you got to get ready Friday, Saturday for MegaFest. So we just want to make sure to say thank you for taking the time to come back. The First Hotshot has been a long time, and I think it's been a real success. So
I hope you keep this going. We're going to
definitely keep it going. So you take care, and everybody else, look at again for the next Hotshot, just a few days. The next one, we're going to talk to Greg Anthony, a former AIWF World Champion. We're going to talk about his battles and everything. So we're going to do that as soon as we get together. Thank you very much for coming. Pharoah Brooks, thank you. And I guess I may harass you. Look, I may harass you Friday night. I may not be able to go anywhere else because with weather and everything.
Get your shirt, Rodney. Property of VCA Wrestling. Established.
Yeah, I got to get one of those. I already got a Greatest on Earth. I put an X by, so. Take care, man.
All right.
All right, we'll see you.
All right.